Hey, so this is the update to the shopping cart killer. He had his trial on Halloween, which was on Monday, 2 days ago. Louis Nagy, defense attorney for Anthony Eugene Robinson, aka the shopping cart killer, asked the judge if he could have Robinson mentally evaluated to see if he was insane at the time that he allegedly killed Elizabeth Redmond, age 54, and Tanita Smith, age 39. So in the motion on Monday, Nagy wrote that these offenses against Robinson are egregious, and that there's no way to determine without an evaluation that if Robinson was in his right frame of mind when he committed the murders. So it looks like, just based on this motion, that they're going for an insanity plea. He also said that Robinson has a long history of mental illness, although that's never been stated before. However, the interesting thing is, even though Robinson, whether he may or may not have a history of mental illness, he has never been arrested before, at least not under his known name, Anthony Robinson, which the police thought was, interesting, at least. Nagy believes because Robinson suffers from mental illness and he's been suffering for a long time, apparently, that this is what led him to commit the murders and that he was suffering the effects of mental illness when he committed at least one of the crimes. Well, he said one or more of the crimes. So if he only suffered mental illness during one of the crimes, does that mean he's guilty, just full out guilty for the rest? I'm not quite understanding where he's going with that, but okay. Rockingham County Deputy Commonwealth Attorney Christopher Bean did not seek to combine the cases of Redmond and Smith. For some reason, he's trying them separately. Now, I'm not a lawyer. Don't come to me for legal help. I think the reason why he's trying them separately is to ensure a conviction, because Redmond's body, maybe this is a stronger case, she had a plastic bag over her head and she was far more decomposed. However, Tanita Smith, her arms were tied behind her back and, she had a few abrasions, but she wasn't as beat up. Whereas Redmond, she had, marks around her neck because there was also a cord, and she had these marks on her neck, and the tissue around her neck was also more decomposed as well, appearing that there was some form of strangulation. So I guess based on the evidence, you can see more of a murderous intent with her body than you can with Tanita's. I don't know. I'm not an attorney and I don't have access to all the evidence. I only know what they put in the news. Sorry that there isn't much more information, but with the motions that were put in place, this delays the trial even further. So that's less information that we get to find out about what happened to these women and what Robinson did, the extent to what Robinson has done. So his next trial date is on this Friday. So I'll be getting up to date on that as well. But what I did learn was something new is that how Robinson was able to get these hotel rooms and keep them for so long. Because he worked at the Pilgrim Pride's chicken plant, and that's where they go to process the chicken, one of his compensations for working there was that they paid for his housing accommodations, and that was at the Howard Johnson Hotel where he met Redmond and Smith and where he murdered them. And so on that video, the surveillance video, you see both women going to the same room at different times, room 336. And you see them go in, but you don't see them come out. But what you do see is Robinson getting a shopping cart, wheeling it to the room. He'd be there for a few hours, I guess, to prep the body for disposal. And then you see him dragging the shopping cart out of the room with a body-like figure wrapped in sheets. And this is the evidence that they're using to convict him. So Robinson's whole life centered around the hotels that he stayed at. So he was at the Howard Johnson Hotel. Tanita Smith was found with, thick black yarn wrapped around her hands, and that's what he bound her with. And they believe that he purchased it at a nearby Walmart. And so they do have him on surveillance camera buying this yarn, and it's the same type of yarn that they found on the victim. So everything is nearby. The Walmart he purchased the yarn, the hotel that he was staying at, the place where he worked, the chicken plant where he worked, And then also, that was nearby his dumping sites on Route 1, which he would use vacant lots that were nearby to get just to get rid of the bodies. So on this Friday, the judge will determine whether or not he will see a mental health expert to be evaluated. And so after that, he gets evaluated, then we'll start to learn more as the trial proceeds. So until then, I'm out.